would like to start off the show by categorically stating that Africa Good Morning stands with all the women today who will be taking on the women's shutdown, and this is a stand against gender-based violence, a scourge on all of our communities that needs to end, and it will only end with collective effort. Mangwanani, Malelepo, Fukenjani, class, Wanawe Africa, welcome to Africa Good Morning. Today, we report on Kenya, where authorities are accused of financing online harassment of Gen Z protesters. Guinea-Bissau prepares for a highly contested presidential election. Greece explores migrant return hubs in Africa. South Africa's High Court rules anti-migrant clinic blockades illegal. Ethiopia welcomes returned historic artifacts from Germany. Madagascar unveils a 300-kilogram gemstone at the presidential palace. In Namibia, updates include the Africa Educates Her campaign, Interpol presidential candidate Major General Anne-Marie Nainda, and the netball team send off to the Celtic Cup. Watch us on DSTV 285, GOTV 25, NTVAFRIKA.MY.NA, NTV Africa on YouTube, and of course, oneup2.com. My name is Ashwin Berry. Top stories shortly.
Save the date for November 26, 2025, when all registered voters head to the polls for the regional councils and local authorities elections. Your voice matters, and your vote is your voice. Head to your nearest polling station and elect your leaders. Remember, every vote counts. Get involved, put your voice in the box. Vote on November 26, 2025.
Keep in mind, next week Namibia gets into its local and regional elections. Make sure you get your coverage from NTV starting on the 25th of November and, of course, throughout the 26th and the week. Amnesty International says Kenyan authorities financed coordinated online trolls to intimidate Gen Z protesters during the anti-government demonstrations of 2024 and 2025, describing a deliberate digital effort to silence young organizers who mobilized through social media. The organization reports that government agencies combined harassment, surveillance, and disinformation to target activists, especially young women and LGBTQ individuals who were subjected to misogynistic attacks, homophobic insults, and AI-generated pornographic images. One activist said she received threats naming her child age and school bus number plate, forcing her to change schools. Amnesty interviewed 31 young human rights defenders, 9 of whom reported violent threats across X, TikTok, Facebook, and WhatsApp. A man in the report claimed he earned about 25 to 50,000 Kenyan shillings daily to promote pro-government narratives and drown out protest hashtags. Rights groups say more than 100 people died during the protests in 2024 and this year amid accusations of arbitrary arrests, enforced disappearances, and lethal force. Kenya's Interior Minister denies sanctioning harassment, while Amnesty questions alleged unlawful surveillance, which Safaricom denies. Moving on to our next story. Tension and uncertainty are rising in Guinea-Bissau as voters prepare for a presidential election described as one of the country's most contentious since its return to multi-party politics. President Umaro Sissoco Embalo is seeking a second term after a turbulent period marked by political disputes and repeated coup allegations. If re-elected, he would be the first sitting president in over 50 years of independence to secure a second term. Although opposition groups argue his mandate ended in February, while the Supreme Court says it runs until September. The early election date has deepened unease. In Bissau, voters expressed hopes for stability, safety, and respect for the Constitution. 12 presidential candidates and 14 political groups are competing, but analysts warn that excluding key opposition coalitions and long-standing military rivalries could fuel tensions. Lawyer Augusto Nansambe says the country's democratic model has shifted dramatically since 29 years ago. Despite a history of multiple coups, some citizens hope the vote offers a turning point, with many calling for a peaceful process that ultimately unites Guineans. Greece says it wants to join other EU countries in exploring the creation of migrant return hubs in African states to handle rejected asylum seekers. And this is according to Migration Minister Tanos Plevris. Greece, a major entry point during the 2015-2016 crisis, when more than 1 million people arrived, has recently seen rising arrivals on Crete and Gavdos from North Africa. Plevris told public broadcaster ERT that Greece had discussed the initiative with Germany and formally expressed interest, noting discussions already exist with certain African countries considered safe. The Netherlands and Uganda have a cooperation arrangement for returning rejected asylum seekers, using Uganda as a transit point, though only for people from nearby states. Plevris said centers outside Europe could deter migration, suggesting that someone departing North Africa for Europe might instead be sent to Uganda. Uganda has also agreed with the United States to receive nationals from third countries denied asylum. Greece has toughened its migration stance, expanding a border fence and intensifying sea patrols, and temporarily halted asylum processing for some North African arrivals. And this is despite criticism from rights groups. We move on to next door. The Johannesburg High Court has ruled that Operation Dudula's efforts to block foreigners from public health clinics are unlawful after members of the anti-migrant group repeatedly prevented undocumented individuals from accessing care. Wearing military-style clothing often, members demand identity documents at clinic entrances and turn away mothers, sick patients, and pregnant women, directed them to private hospitals that charge fees. Similar scenes have occurred across Gauteng as debates over immigration intensify. Activists such as Del McKinley warned that vigilante groups cannot enforce checks reserved for state officials, noting that many South Africans also lack documentation. Operation Dudula, whose size remains unclear, has also closed foreign-owned shops and blocked children of migrants from attending public schools. South Africa, which deported 46,898 undocumented migrants last year, faces overcrowded hospitals and shortages despite spending 8.5% of GDP on healthcare. The government condemns the group's actions and has deployed security to clinics, though police resources are stretched. Cases include 3 Dudula members arrested after entering a maternity ward. Some migrants have relocated to areas without the group, and this is to safely access care. 12 culturally significant Ethiopian artifacts collected in the 1920s by German envoy Franz Weiss and his wife Hedwig have been formally returned after more than 100 years and handed to the Institute of Ethiopian Studies at the Addis Ababa University. The collection includes crowns, shields, paintings, and other historically important pieces preserved by the family. During a ceremony attended by Tourism Minister Kasa, Professor Ramon Weiss of the family wished to share the item's beauty with the public and preserve the history connected to his father's birth in Ethiopia. Germany's envoy Ferdinand von Weyer said the artifacts symbolize long-standing ties between the two countries. The family states that the items were gifts or purchases, and Ethiopian officials say they will soon be accessible for public research and academic study. The minister thanked the family for safeguarding and returning the pieces and described the move as a milestone in protecting national heritage. Ethiopia continues efforts to recover artifacts worldwide amid broader African campaigns for the restitution of items taken during colonial rule. The last of our top stories. Madagascar's interim president, Colonel Michael Randrianirina, has unveiled a 300 kg gemstone described as an emerald in matrix, saying it was discovered inside the presidential palace following his coup/takeover last month. The dark stone, streaked with green crystal, was displayed in the Ambo Historia State Palace in Antananarivo, though officials say expert analysis is still needed to determine the size and value of the emerald within. Randrianirina declared the stone a national asset and said it could be sold under procedures, and the mines minister will outline this, promising full transparency. He gave no details about when or why the stone was brought to the palace, saying only that it was found upon arrival. Mines Minister Carl Andriamparani called it a collector's dream and noted that no comparable stone has been recorded in Madagascar. The gemstone's discovery adds another element to the political transition following the recent power seizure in the Indian Ocean nation, as authorities consider its potential role in increasing state revenue. Those have been our top stories on Africa Good Morning. Shortly, we're going to be looking at the news videos of the week stemming from Namibia. But prior to that, it's the weather. Time for the Namibia news videos of the week. All the stories in this segment come from Network Media Hub and Network Sports Hub journalists, making sure Namibia and Africa stays informed. Clemencia Kavita delivered a statement on behalf of Lydia Ndombo, Executive Director in the Ministry of Gender Equality and Child Welfare, at the Africa Educates Her campaign launch. The event was hosted by the Forum for African Women Educationalists in collaboration with the African Union International Center for Girls and Women's Education in Africa.
Technology, engineering, and mathematics is timely and necessary. It challenges us to address the data gap that continues to lead girls' participation in this field, not because of lack of ability, but because of persistent social norms, unequal access, and structural barriers. In Namibia, we have made commendable progress in closing the gender gap in education, yet challenges remain, particularly in STEM-related subjects. Many young girls still lack access to resources, mentorship, and role models that inspire them to pursue science careers. It is therefore critical that we create an enabling environment both in and out of schools where girls can learn, explore, innovate, and lead. This campaign reminds us that when a girl is educated, a nation is transformed. Investing in girls' education, especially in STEM, is not just socially upright, but economically imperative. The innovations that will shape African future in health, technology, environment, and industry will depend on how well we nurture the.
The campaign, held at the Ministry of Gender's After School Center, aims to address persistent barriers that prevent young women from realizing their full potential, celebrate success stories, and emphasize the urgent need to invest in girls' education. Now, Major General Anne-Marie-Nayinda, the current Interpol Executive Committee Delegate for Africa and Deputy Inspector General of NAMPOL, will contest for the Interpol presidency on 27 November in Marrakesh, Morocco. NAMPOL Inspector General Joseph Shikongo, Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security Minister Lucia Ipumbu, and International Affairs and Trade Minister Ambassador Sama Ashipala Musavi hosted the local diplomatic corps at NAMPOL head offices in Windhoek to garner support for the coming election. Hear what Nayinda had to say at the occasion.
Is more than willing to lead Interpol to the next level. We have been contributing for the past more than 30 years, and we possess the skills, the leadership exposure, and what it takes to take Interpol further. We are so aware that in the current geopolitical space, Interpol's neutrality must be protected and upheld at all costs. Therefore, as someone that has been serving for so many years, I'm ready to take on that cause. I do recognize and appreciate the credentials of the other running mates, but I will give an extraordinary leadership because of my current exposure and the fact that I'm having a competitive advantage above my competitors. I'm just asking this evening to all the diplomats, please give us your votes, and Namibia will make sure that Interpol is run in a transparent, inclusive, and accountable manner. Thank you very much.
We certainly wish her all the best. Keeping our focus on Namibia's women, Namibia's netball national team Demberine Desert Jewels Center in Mbileni, France, spoke about their upcoming endeavor at the Celtic Cup in Scotland from 26 to 30 November during their send-off by the Namibia Sports Commission. The Jewels depart today to take on teams from host Scotland, Ireland, Wales, Zimbabwe and Uganda.
To our coaches, management and everyone who worked tirelessly behind the scenes, thank you for your leadership, sacrifice, and guidance. Every win, every improvement, and every milestone carry your influence. To my teammates, ladies, we are more than players. We are sisters, bounded by passion and purpose. When we step onto the court in Scotland, let us remember where we come from, who we represent, and why we started. Play with heart, stand united, trust our preparation. As coach always say, trust the process. And give everything you have, every second of everything. As the word reminds us in Philippians 4 verse 13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Let that be our confidence, our anchor, and our motivation. To the nation, thank you for your support, your love. We promise to represent Namibia with dignity, pride, and excellence. Let us go, shine, and continue making history. I so thank you.
Now, Demberine Desert Jewels specialist coach Dorette Badenhorst talks about the players' readiness, and this is ahead of their departure today to Scotland.
Tell us how the training camp went and just how ready the players are for the two events.
The training camp went really well. We're fortunate to have all the players in now to train with us. We spent our time together from last week Friday. So yeah, I'm happy. We're really training hard. We're working hard. So we really want to perform well.
We understand you are training with the thought that some of the players might not join you. So are there any reinforcements you brought in the team?
Yeah, I think it's important that we have a lot of players that we selected to be ready. If there's some of the players that won't get visas, there were also players that weren't available for us, but two of them are released. They will join us from today. Corey also received her visa today. So yes, we're starting to get to become full house, and I'm happy that we can now select the best players to go with.
Okay, and coach, with the thought that the teams you are going up against are ranked higher than you, where are your thoughts that heading into the competition?
Yeah, I always believe that you have to play against the best to become the best. So for us, it's important to start playing against the top teams in the world. And this is our first opportunity to play some of the teams ranked in the top 10 in the world. So yeah, we're looking forward. We want to do well. And it's important for us to showcase our talent to the world out there and to show them that we a country of the brave, that we are really there to participate. And we want not only participate, but we want to do well.
Right. Okay. And then heading the two events, I understand you were previously aiming for the 12th position to be part of the Commonwealth Games. Is that still the dream?
Yes, we can't be part of the next year's Commonwealth Games. The top 12 is already announced. So for us, it's always important to become part of that top 12. So it's not only a dream, it's something that we really want to work hard. We want to qualify for World Cup next year. Next year, end of the year, we will play Africa qualifiers. So that is the main aim now, to qualify for World Cup in 2027. So yes, it will be a dream to become part of the World Cup, but also going forward part of Commonwealth Games.
And of course, thanks for your time and all the best.
Thank you very much.
And finally, Marine Namibia representative Anna Ikela spoke about their journey with the senior national netball team.
We actually stepped up when there was no netball, if I might say. I'm allowed to say that. So we believed in girl child, and we believe in sport in general. You know, we have been involved in a lot of sport activities. But to mention that, on top of my head, I would say Netball Namibia has been one of our baby that we are so proud of. We have seen you crawling, we have seen you walking, we have seen you running, and we have seen you excelling. So Deborah Namibia is happy for that. And today, I would just like to also thank, for the first time, I think in a couple of years now, I have been just Deborah Namibia and Deborah Namibia. I'm very happy to hear that Namibian Tourism Board came on board, and also Nampower. Thank you so much for making the Namibian girls' dream coming true. And I think in a true Namibian fashion, we can just go further if we are many. We can't go alone. I know we came a long way. It was always the Namibian jewels, but now seeing that there are also certain corporate companies that came on board, it makes us happy.
All right, thank you very much for joining Africa Good Morning today. Just before we wrap up and get you into the highlights, one economic news story. Africa's digital infrastructure continues expanding, with South Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, and Egypt leading the continent's data center footprint and collectively holding nearly 46% of existing and upcoming facilities. Despite representing less than 1% of global capacity, Africa's data center growth is accelerating, and this is alongside rising internet access, mobile connectivity, fintech development, and increasing AI adoption. The Africa Existing and Upcoming Data Center database lists 121 operational and 49 planned data centers across 13 countries. Let's have a look at the highlights from this morning's broadcast. Kenyan authorities linked to paid online intimidation of Gen Z protesters. Guinea-Bissau faces 10th presidential election amid mandate dispute. Greece seeks talks with African states on migrant return hubs. South African court declares anti-migrant clinic blockades illegal. Ethiopia receives return of historic artifacts held in Germany for a century. Madagascar's military leader displays 300-kilogram gemstone which was found in palace. And we brought you the news videos of the week stemming from Namibia, which were dominated by stories of incredible achievements and pending achievements by Namibia's women. DSTV 285, GOTV 25, oneup2.com, NTVAFRIKA.MY.NA, and NTV Africa on YouTube are where you can catch Africa Good Morning. We'll be back on Monday with more news. Mike Suchula joins us with the Zambia report as well. But do make sure you follow us on social media, and we will be keeping you informed as we have to do and we love to do. Thank you very much. Swera Zvakanaka.